Hey everyone, fantastic. My name's Luke. This week we're talking about books and like what we're reading and stuff like that. As you all know, or at least I hope you all know, I'm very obsessed with Harry Potter. Hang on, let me show you. This is my Harry Potter shrine. I'm starting a bit of a Harry Potter collection, so I've kind of got a little bit going on over there. Obviously, Harry Potter is very near and dear and close to my heart. I want to reread Harry Potter, but at the moment, I'm currently rereading this series. Now, I've mentioned this book series in the tattoo videos. The book series is called Power 5 by Anthony Horowitz. I don't have the first book. I've got all of them except for the first book, which is really annoying. First book I borrowed from the library in like year 9 when I first started reading the book series, and they didn't have any of the other books. They just had the first one. So I borrowed the first one, read the first one, then was like, okay, now what? So I bought all of the other ones. I don't want to give too much away, and I recommend that everyone at least tries to read it because it's so good. It's just really good. Basically, it's about 5 kids, 4 boys and a girl, and they've got special powers, and they've got to protect the world against the old ones. They're like evil, just evil in general. It's like if they come back, hell is like on Earth, and they're kind of like the guardians and the gatekeepers of the world, and they kind of have to protect the world and stop the gates from opening that will like cause the old ones to come out. It's really good. It sounds really bad when I explain it because it's really well written. It's really detailed, lots of different plot points that sort of go on and they all kind of connect. It's up there with Harry Potter. It's a fantasy slash supernatural kind of series, so it's set in like the current day. It's modern, but it's also got flashbacks to like 10,000 years ago. So that's what I'm currently reading. I read the first one in the holidays. So in like January, I read it in like 2 hours because I'm quite a fast reader. I couldn't find the second one because I left it in Australia, but I had the third one and the fifth one. And I started reading the third one again, got like that far into it, and came back to Australia. And then I went down to Adelaide and I found the second and the fourth one in a box at my nana's house. And I was like, damn it! Because I'd like started reading this one, so I was like, okay, fine, I'll start reading this one. Reread that over the holiday, like about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. So I read the first one, that was all fine. I couldn't find the second one, and so I came back to Melbourne, started reading the third one. I just skipped the second one because it had like the story so far. Then I left the book in Melbourne and went down to Adelaide, and then I found the second and fourth books in a box at my nana's house. So then I started reading the second book. I finished the second one in like a couple days, and then I was like, well, damn it, because now I'm in Adelaide. Night Rise, the third book, is in Melbourne, and I'm in Adelaide for another couple days, so I could like either just continue and start on to the fourth one, or just like hold out and not read until I get back to Melbourne, and then I can start reading the third one and then like continue on that way. But of course, I'm trash, so I didn't do that, and I actually started reading the fourth one, and I got about that far into it as well. Then came back to Melbourne. Now I'm reading the third one again, so I've kind of gone like first book, quarter way through the third book, second book, quarter way through the fourth book, back to starting the third book, and then I'm going to keep going from there. I read a lot of books, actually. I'm quite a big reader. I'm not so much now because I'm really picky with what I read, and I haven't really found any books that I really enjoy enough to continue reading them. That's why when I find book series like Harry Potter, like Power 5, I get obsessed, because it's very hard to write a book that is actually like, that will get me reading and I'll stick through it. I don't know, like, I get really bored of books easily, and I'm not the sort of person that can just start reading like 4 or 5 different books at a time. If I'm reading a book, I'm reading one book, and I'm reading it the whole way through, and then I finish that book, then I move on to the next book. Like, I can't do the whole, you know, read a bit of like a little bit of this, read a little bit of that. My roommate back at school, when I was like in year 9, she would be like reading like 7 books on the go, and I'd be like looking at her and she'd like reading, and then she'd be a bit bored, so she'd put that one down, she'd pick up another one and start reading that, and I was like, what the hell, you can't, like, I can't do that. I read a lot of fantasy books, lots of like dystopian books as well. I like the Divergent series, that's pretty good. Unpopular opinion, actually, and I'm not going to give too much away, like no spoilers here, but I actually really liked where the last book went. I know so many people hated it, really disliked where it went, and felt like it kind of like changed the series too much, but I really liked it. I thought it was really interesting, a really interesting twist. Finished the series in about 26 hours. I just couldn't really put it down. I really like Divergent, actually. I really loved the first Hunger Games book. I read that in year 7. Catching Fire and Mockingjay, I just couldn't get into it. I got halfway through Catching Fire and was sick of it, and I just never really picked it up again. I've seen the movies though. Have all the Hunger Games movies come out? Is there still one left? No, I think they've all come out. Or am I just really behind? I should know these things, but I don't. What else? What else do I like reading? I haven't had much time to read recently. I've just sort of been really busy with school and spending time with friends, and I haven't really had anything to read. So if anyone has any book suggestions from what I've described my reading taste is like, let me know. I'm just sort of thinking over the past 2-3 years, sort of the books that I've really gotten into that aren't like big series and stuff like that. I really liked Wonder. I don't have the actual book, but I've got a spin-off book. Yeah, this one's 365 Days of Wonder, and it's like a little quote for every day. Let's see what the quote for today is. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. It's just got little quotes and stuff like that that kind of reflect the themes of the book. The book was based on a boy called August who has a rare developmental disorder. I don't exactly know, I can't really remember, I haven't read it in a while. It was like 2 or 3 years ago when I read it. He's got a very different face, and he's bullied for it, and like people sort of treat him differently, and it sort of like describes his life and how he copes with going to high school. I think it's high school. Different chapters have it from like different people's perspectives, and it describes how they relate to this character, August, and his life. I really loved that book. So Wonder by L.J. Palacio, really good book, I recommend it. Another book that I read over the past few years was The Giver. And The Giver is actually in a series. I have one of them. Oh, yes. So this is the last book in the Giver series. It's not really a series though, it's like a collection. The movie came out in 2014, and the movie was absolutely terrible compared to the book. The book was really good. The movie was a bit weird. But it's that one where it's like starts off in black and white and then it goes to like all color and stuff like that. The movie is like really isn't true to the book. The book's really different. It's cool. So it's got like the first book, which is The Giver. Then it's got the second one, which is Gathering Blue. And then the third one is The Messenger. So there's The Giver, Gathering Blue, The Messenger, and they all exist in the same world, but they're all very independent. So like the characters in The Giver, you don't see them in the other two, or like you kind of do, but like you don't really see, like they don't really connect very much until the last book. I haven't actually read this one yet though. I've been meaning to, but I haven't gotten around to it. So that's up there on my list. After I finish reading The Power of 5, I'm going to read this one. They're connected, but they're not actually like sequential, so you can read them all in any different order, and it all makes sense. I'm not really a big biography reader. Like I know YouTubers every now and then come out with YouTuber books. I've never really been into that whole thing, except I've listened to Josh Sundquist's autobiography, Just Don't Fall, about his journey from recovering from childhood cancer to becoming a Paralympian and representing the US, and I highly recommend it. I don't know if you guys know who Josh Sundquist is. He's a YouTuber, Paralympian, and he's probably one of my favorite YouTubers. It's a really well written book, and I've been really wanting to read his second book, We Should Hang Out Sometime, which is sort of based on relationships and stuff like that. I've heard Binge by Tyler Oakley is really good. It's never really been the sort of genre that I've been into, so I don't know, but I might pick it up and see how I go. As you can tell, I'm pretty particular with what sort of books I read. I probably should branch out a little bit more and stop being so picky so that I can actually read things. Anyway, that's all I've got for this video. I will catch you guys next time. If you have any comments or anything, just leave them down below. I check very regularly. I will see you guys next time. Bye.